Hey guys, we're live. I'm Jeff with eBay Addicts, and today I got a returning guest coming back with me, Kerry from American Arbitrage. How are you doing today, bro?
Good. How have you been, Matt?
Oh, I'm doing well. I'm glad to see you made it back, and
Yeah, glad
it
to be back, man.
looks yeah, it looks like you've been busy lately, bro. Go first of all, go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience, just in case they don't know who you are. Somebody in the audience doesn't know who you are.
Okay, yeah, I'm Kerry. So I go by American Arbitrage here on YouTube. I'm also on TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest. I'm all over the place, but I'm mostly known for TikTok. That's where I'm most known.
Yeah. Tell them how many big of a following you have on TikTok now.
uh,
It's pretty big.
about 630,000.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going crazy right now. It's been going up a couple thousand every day for like the last week. So I don't know. It's rapidly changing every day.
So I got a weird question for you, man. Has anybody recognized you? Have you been like at a thrift store or
Oh yeah,
yard sale or estate sale? People are like, hey, there's
yeah.
there's Gary from American Arbitrage. Anybody come up and recognize you yet?
It doesn't happen as much as you would think, but yeah, it does. What's weird to me is because everybody knows my name is Kerry, so I'll be at a thrift store and they'll be like, "Hey, Kerry," and I'm thinking it's especially here in this neighborhood. I know a lot of people. I'm thinking it's somebody I know from high school or somebody a fellow picker, and then they're like, I don't know, I don't recognize them, and I'm still in that phase where I'm like, oh, I don't remember who you are, and and sometimes it takes a minute or two to realize that they're actually, oh, I follow you on. I've gotten everything. I follow you on Instagram. I follow you on TikTok. I follow you on YouTube. I've gotten all different types of people who have come up with different places they found me. But yeah, it's surreal. It doesn't really compute, honestly.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think in the past year, I only had something like that happen to me once. I was just in a Walmart parking lot, and somebody comes up and he's like, "Hey, you!" And I'm just like looking around, like, "Do they know
Yeah,
me from somewhere?"
it's
Like,
hard.
can
It's
I?
hard to comprehend. Yeah,
Right? And
I'm
you're
just
just like
talking
looking,
into a
you're like,
phone, man, and then
right,
people recognize
right.
me.
Right. I'm just like loading my groceries up in the car in the parking lot, and I'm looking around like, does this guy think I work for Walmart or something? Because I don't have a badge on. So just very every once in a while, you just run into somebody that happen to recognize you, and when you don't know them, it's kind of a unique situation. You're just like, hey, what you don't know what you're supposed to do. Like, am I supposed to just stop and take a photo with the person? But I just stopped and chatted for a few minutes, and
Yeah.
we both went on about our day.
Yeah, people are pretty cool. Like I've had that happen a couple of times because I go to the same thrift stores almost every day, so people kind of know my run. And after you meet somebody, it's just your friend. Then you see him again,
Yeah.
you say hi, what's up, how's it going? It's just a unique way to meet fellow pickers a lot of times.
Yeah.
Before it was just meeting them at swap meets or at my store or something, and now it's just one more place to meet people.
Yeah. So, Kerry, if you guys don't know, he lives in Utah. You're a full-time reseller and YouTuber. So
Yes.
tell everybody a little bit of your backstory of how you got into reselling. Because I had you on before, but I've got some new subscribers. I got a new
Oh,
new
yeah.
audience. So if they don't know who you are, give us kind of a brief backstory of how you got into reselling and how because people think that people that are resellers are just like they have no job prospects, they're uneducated, and this is all they know how to do. And it is complete opposite. It's just
Yeah.
life happens, right?
It is. I mean, I graduated college 10 years ago now. 10 years ago in 2010, right in the middle of the recession. I graduated from the U of U, University of Utah here in Utah. I had a degree in history. I have a degree, well, I have one still. I don't use it as much. I have a degree in history, political science, and Spanish. I have 3 bachelors. And I was going to go back and teach. I wanted to go back and be a professor of history. I wanted to teach late 19th century French history is what I was interested in. And before I got back, there was, really no great job. So I was just working something simple, planning to take like a semester off and go back to school. And before that happened, I got into picking. I remember my mom brought me, I was still living at home at the time, and my mom brought me a video game from my sister's youth that she had gotten for Christmas and never opened up. It was a Pokemon Game Boy game. That's probably worth like $1,500 now. But back then I sold it for $70, and I was flabbergasted that actually was possible. Started watching, Storage Wars, American Pickers, all that stuff, and I got into it. Back then, I mean, there wasn't a lot of reseller content outside of the TV shows. There was like one guy, Redneck Picker, who was doing YouTube videos, and a couple people doing storage unit videos, and that was it. So I was eating up anything I could find on YouTube, and that was the only place. And I even had a YouTube channel back then that I shut down like 7 years ago. I stopped doing it, but I got back into it, and I've been reselling for 10 years. I love it, full time, and I've been doing the content stuff for like a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years now.
But you know how it is. You always see people in the comments section when you're on YouTube or Instagram or especially on TikTok. They're like, "Get a real job. This isn't like a real job,
dude, all the time."
And stuff." And it's like they almost think about it. If you're buying something that someone was going to throw in the garbage or pitch out in the landfill or somebody donated, like you're somehow robbing from poor people. So you get that kind of stuff all the time.
Yeah, people don't, we're in a major shift in the American economy and the world economy. I think the death of, I've read articles on this, the death of the classical job. I think a lot of the jobs we grew up with and our parents grew up with, grandparents grew up with, they're going, they're going to be automated, stuff like that. The gig economy, and I think eBay is a part of that to some extent. We fulfill a need that, Amazon by itself can't fulfill or Walmart can't fulfill. Walmart can sell cheap clothes, they can sell cheap toys, but are they going to be able to sell, a 1988 Silverhawk action figure used? They're not going to be able to do, without the help of third-party sellers on their website. So there's a big opening for us. I think it's only going to get bigger and bigger. And it's been big the whole time I've been doing it, reselling, honestly. It's a real job.
Yeah.
It's a lot more work than a real job, honestly, unless you're like in something super physical.
Yeah, man, but it's all about supply and demand, and it's like I'll come across I saw one of your videos. I think it was either on Instagram or TikTok, and you were showing like, hey, I found this Godfather Blu-ray set that's still new in the shrink wrap for $3, and I'm going to sell it for $30. Now, if that person's looking for that particular item and they can't find it at Walmart or Target or Best Buy, where are they going to get this merchandise at? So if you can pull it out and say, hey, I have this vintage item, like I have this VHS tape or a CD that they haven't made in 25 years that you can't go to Best Buy and pull it off the shelf and get it. You can only buy it online. So you're fulfilling a need, and because of supply and demand dynamics, you can charge a little bit more than you could like on the street. Like if I was at a flea market or something, I may not be able to charge $20 for this CD, but because there's only 2 people on eBay that have it online, and I'm the only one that has it new in the shrink wrap, and I haven't made it for 25 years, now that particular item has a premium. So, hey, let me say hello to a few people in the chat. We have Javela Flips is in the house. Annie, she says, hey, Jeff and Carrie. I wanted to say hey to Pittsburgh Picker is in the house. Says, hey, guys, watching and editing a video. Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate you coming by and hanging out with us today. Wanted to say hey to LKL Graphics. Keith is here. And Philly Flipper is here. He says, hey, Jeff and Carrie.
Hey, what's up, Philly Flipper, man? How are you doing?
I'm here to support my boy Carrie. So you were on with his channel not too long ago, weren't you?
Yeah, I was on his channel. Gosh, what was it been, like 4 or 5 months ago, I think.
Yeah, you're popular. And
I hope.
Well, we have Pittsburgh Picker says Philly in the house. What's up? So, hey guys, if you have questions for our guests, go ahead and drop it in the chat. So we were talking a little bit about Carrie's backstory. So you went to college. You have like 4 or 3 different bachelor's degrees. One of them is in history, and you were it wasn't like that. You were going to grow up and say, hey man, when I grow up to be an adult, I want to be a full-time reseller. Like that wasn't like your original blueprint, your original plan. But as you were talking about earlier, is that people don't realize like the way things are happening, because we're in the year 2021, a lot more of these jobs are starting to be automated, like you said earlier. Like, just for example, you go to Walmart, you see these U-scan checkout lanes where maybe there used to be 20 cashiers when I was a young boy. There would be 20 cashiers, and there would be 20 baggers at each one of these little stations. Now they have one person running 20 U-scan machines, and they're, downsizing and eliminating jobs. I went to this credit union not too long ago, and I know you're going to think this is weird, but they had one guy that was in the bank, one guy, okay? And all these other machines were like automated ATM machines, and you would press a button, and just like we're talking, somebody would pop up on the screen of the ATM, the bank teller would, and I guess they were working from home or this call center. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep, I've seen those before, yeah.
It's like the automated ATM machine. So there's like one person in the bank, and that's it. So and another thing I posted, and it doesn't really have to do with reselling, but like I posted on my community section the other day that like 50% of the population in America that have a job. That's not counting people that are, children, stay-at-home moms, elderly people that are retired, but people that are actually in the workforce. half of the population makes less than $35,000 a year. And it doesn't matter. You can walk up and say, I'm a regional manager, assistant manager. You can say, I've got 10 years experience. You can say, I've got 10 college degrees. You flip a coin, heads or tails, 50% chance you're making, $15 an hour or less, essentially. So you're going to fall into that group. So it's kind of like at a certain point in time, you have to decide, okay, am I going to go and work this corporate job and make $15 an hour my whole life? Or am I going to be self-employed and have no cap, no limit on what my income is, Yeah. And you have to kind of make that leap at some point in time.
It's true. We're, before, back in the old days, we were working for corporations, but now, I mean, I think what a lot of people are doing, like Philly Flipper, yourself, we're creating brands for ourselves. We are our own corporations. I'm not just an eBay seller. I do social media stuff. I do, there's just, we're becoming our own thing if we want to be. And it's more and more available for people. I mean, 20, 30 years ago, this wasn't something that was possible. You basically were going to get, if you ever wanted to be a picker and have any notoriety, you would have had to have been picked by like an A&E and do like American Picker kind of show. That would have been the only way you could make any money on picking outside of actually doing the picking. But now, I have streams of income coming through the picking and also social media, which at times is just as much as my picking. So it's amazing.
Yeah, when we talk last, people don't realize the opportunity. We talk last, and you being on TikTok, you actually have like brand deals and sponsorships that help pay your expenses. So if you made no money reselling at all, you have an extra check coming in every week or every month to help cover your expenses, to help pay your living expenses through brand deals. And, you've been hustling and doing the work. So if people don't realize that, if they only think like, oh, I need to work 40 hours a week at this job in order to make 40 hours a week on your paycheck, whereas you're able to create a brand from scratch and just being out there in the field hustling and saying, hey, I found this item for $1 at the thrift store, and it's going to sell for $15 plus shipping. And that's like your whole model, your whole brand, and you're able to create a brand from nothing. So let me say hello real quick to Sal's HQ is in the house, Pittsburgh Picker. We have Commonwealth
Hey,
Flipper.
Kevin, what's up?
He says, never heard of this guy. He must be a TikToker. Hey, thanks for coming by, guys. If you guys are not
Kevin,
following,
you're a TikToker too, man.
Oh, he is now. I didn't know. I'm not on TikTok.
He is big. He's had some hits too. He knows it.
Oh wow. I've tried to reach out to him, but Kevin's always been busy doing his thing out in the Commonwealth cabin. So he says, "Who is this American Arbitrage guy?"
Kevin's the hardest working guy in reselling. I gotta say, he's always into something, doing something interesting.
Well, I mean, it's tough for me just trying to manage one YouTube channel. If I had to put out content on 2 different channels, plus trying to do TikTok and all that stuff, it's just creating content. I'm not complaining, but sometimes it could be draining. Sometimes you're having to come up with a title, subject title, and it's kind of you're using up some of your energy, and sometimes you could just be exhausted.
Have to train. It's training yourself, because all I'm doing with TikTok or Instagram or YouTube is just showing what I'm doing anyway, and what I would be doing if I wasn't doing social media. You just in my case, with TikTok especially, I'm doing landscape, or I'm doing vertical mode. So I got to make sure I'm taking out my phone. Everybody knows what I'm doing now at this point, and I'm panning in, swooping in, doing all the stuff that I like to do, the movement that makes TikToks go. And I just talk a little bit, and I do my voiceovers later, so it's just a couple minutes at the thrift store extra.
I think you had Kevin on your Instagram or something, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. He was live on the Instagram, like a month ago, I think, when he was at the 127.
Yeah, one of the Philly Flippers here says, question, why are the Jazz trash? Like, this is an important reseller question.
Dude, they've broken my heart so many times, bro. So many times. I still think we're the best team in the league. You guys might be good someday if you get rid of Ben Simmons. So, you never know.
Okay. All right. Kevin says, Carrie, when are we going to go live on TikTok?
Dude, let's do it. I'm down any night, man. This is my full-time gig, so I can make time, especially for you, Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin says eBay Addicts is always in my comment section.
Jeff, you never miss my videos either, so I appreciate that. You're always like one of the first people to comment, so you're always.
Yeah, I was going to say you can ask Harry. I'm usually in his comment section as well. He says, "Got to go run to a movie with the kids." Hey, well, you have a great weekend, Kevin, and we appreciate you coming by and hanging out with us. And hopefully, you have a great weekend. Enjoy your time with the kids. We'll catch up with you soon.
Have fun, man.
Philly Flipper says, Carrie, I will trade you Ben Simmons for a half-eaten candy bar. And
We'll send him. We'll send him the G League. We don't need him, but
the G League.
Actually,
Okay.
we do need his defense. Yeah, maybe he can play off the bench.
Yeah, he could be a 6-man or something. So Pittsburgh Picker says, totally agree. It's not an easy job. People think we shop and lay around just to sell magically. Yeah, I mean, there are different things that you have to do when you're doing reselling. It's not like it just happens instantaneously. So Kerry, man, yeah, I've been following you, man. I wanted to know how you did at that yard sale. You came up on a big, huge lot of video games for like $1 a piece. How'd you do on that deal?
Oh, I killed, man. I mean, not because I'm good. That fell in my lap. But that's the thing about like getting luck in this business. It's when, opportunity meets preparation. So I knew my stuff on that from years of doing this, and I was lucky. I was just in the right place at the right time. But I spent like $600. I was already at about $1,500 a week and a half later. I probably made like $1,600, $1,700 minus fees and costs. So I probably made $700, $800 profit somewhere in there. I still have a few games laying around. That's the cool thing about as you grow on like the TikTok and the Instagram. I sold stuff through Instagram locally. I had a buddy who SLC Flips, if you guys know him on Instagram, he came up and bought quite a few of my games that were sealed to go grade. I don't grade, so he spent some good money on those games, and then hopefully he'll make thousands once they come back graded, which is a video game market is insane.
Yeah, when you came up on that deal and you were like looking at him in the yard sale, I was like, I wasn't there, but I was like, Carrie, buy all of them, just buy all.
Yeah, I should have bought more. Honestly, I went back and cherry picked a little bit more, and he just, what had happened. I told him what I was doing. I don't really hide things, and I don't mind. So he went and checked my video, saw how well I did, and then when I went back, his price, or when I was gonna go back, his prices were going up. So I kind of messed myself up on that one, but that's okay. There's always new deals and more deals out there.
Right. We have a question from Sal's HQ. He says, hey, I found IBM and Twitter headquarters have closed again. Looks like there could be another planned lockdown. How do you and Carrie deal with lockdown?
If you want to go first, or I can, whichever.
Well, I can go first. I have multiple different streams of income. So besides just being monetized on YouTube, which, it's not that much money, honestly. Majority of my money I make from working my regular job as a medical courier. Like, for example, last Friday night, I made like $750 in one night running around doing deliveries. So even if we do have a shutdown, I still get like a piece of paper that says I'm an essential worker. So I'm still allowed to leave the house and work and hustle and do my job, deliver medical supplies. So I have that. I have my 2 eBay stores that I make sales on every day. And then I still have my YouTube channel. And so you just got to make the best of whatever situation you're in. If you're in a lockdown, you're just going to have to hustle. I know when we were in that lockdown last year in 2020, I have over 6,500 items listed in my main eBay store. So, I mean, I was selling stuff left and right, so if one door closes, another window is going to open. Just be prepared. And if something does happen, guys, this isn't reselling related, but have stuff in your house ready to go, because that was the biggest issue that I had. Because just simple stuff that you wouldn't think about, like having laundry detergent. I had to go to 6 Walmarts just to find laundry detergent to do my laundry. But other than that, I just put a mask on and went on about my day like I normally would. And of course, there were some businesses that only allowed 5 people into business at a time. But you're just going to have to put your head down and go. But I would get stocked up on anything that you need: food, water, toilet paper. As you know, toilet paper was, all the shelves were empty.
Yes, I remember.
Laundry detergent. Just stuff that you're going to need to have is essential. And so, like I said, I'll get food, water, have stuff stocked up in your house. So if they say, hey, we're on lockdown for 60 or 90 days, you're like, hey, I'm good. I got plenty of items here that I can be listing. I have plenty of food and water stocked up in my house. I have toilet paper. I have all these different items that's going to take care of me, and just keep going on about your day. You're going to get through this. We're going to get through whatever they throw at us. We made it through 2020. We're in 2021. So at this point, whatever comes is going to come. But go ahead, Gary. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. I mean, just it comes down to the most basic reselling thing. You make the money in the buy. Buy as much as you can right now when the price is right, if you can afford it. Overbuy where you have a death pile. Death piles are money piles too. And right now is a perfect time to be building a death pile. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but as you've seen in like a lot of my videos, I buy collections. I'm buying 2 or 3 boxes, filled with hundreds of items. So I right now have, if you want to count sports cards, I have like 10,000 plus things I can list. But realistically, I have a couple thousand odds and ends. Once I get up into the high thousands or whatever, or in the high 800s, it's going to be smaller items I have to list. But I have a bit of a back stock. It's not always a good thing, but I think in times like this, it is. And then, I here in Utah, it's a little different. We never really shut down, but I mean, I masked up the whole time. I mean, I got my vaccine as soon as I could. I'm just out here trying to make a living, doing what I got to do to make a living. Just be careful out there. Do your best, and buy when you have a deal. If you need to stock up and buy a little extra, I would suggest doing that. It's okay to have a death pile right now, is my opinion.
Yeah, and also I kind of changed my business model. Was before the lockdown, I did a whole lot of stuff, picking stuff up at thrift stores or yard sales, estate sales, pawn shops. But when you go to the pawn shop and only let 5 people in a building at a time, and there's a line around the building, I've been buying a lot more merchandise online. So I'll go ahead and buy 500 or 1,000 items and then have it shipped to my door. So then you're paying 40, 50 cents an item, and you buy 1,000 of them. Let's say I buy 1,000 CDs for $400. My buy cost is 40 cents. And then like yesterday, I just sold a CD for $18. So when you're turning 40, 50 cents into anywhere between $15 to $20, and you have 1,000 of those items show up at your door at a time, and you're getting stuff new in the shrink wrap, I would try to do a little bit of online arbitrage where you buy stuff in bulk and it just shows up at your front door. And then that way it'll kind of help supplement your if you do get on a lockdown situation or you can't go out sourcing, like Carrie said, you have a back stock of merchandise and stuff that you can list. So I wanted to say
also,
hey, too.
Go ahead. No, also it's not just like the wholesale places. Like one of my sponsors is a wholesale place that sends boxes. But besides that, like whatever you're into, if you're into sports cards like myself, or you're into toys, or you're into clothing, there are resellers selling, lots of toys, lots of cards. They're not always looking through them carefully. There's a lot of options just on eBay alone. Then you get into Mercari and there's so many places, outside of just like the big, like bulk or We Bargain or something where you can buy these bulk boxes. There's so many other options to get stuff, and people will be selling.
Yeah. There's plenty of ways that you can go out and get merchandise. I wanted to say hello to Mike is in the chat. Sal's HQ. I wanted to say hey to the Flippin' Sports guy. If you guys have questions for our guests, drop it in the chat. Carrie, I kind of wanted to circle back real quick and talk a little bit about what your strategy is as far as building a brand. I haven't actually got on Twitter or TikTok or none of that stuff. I just do Instagram and YouTube. And so do you have any advice if someone was like, hey, I want to jump on TikTok. I like doing this short format because you have like 600,000, subscribers and watchers. And see, when you first got started, I don't think TikTok was even like, you couldn't even monetize your content. You were just using it as a way to get more eyeballs on your product.
I got so many questions at the start because before they had monetization, I was over 100,000 followers. And I would always tell people, you build a platform, and once you build a platform, the monetization part's not that difficult because you're going to have eyeballs. And once you have eyeballs, whether it's through TikTok's Creator Fund, which pays me per view, or whoever my sponsors are any given month. I mean, I've had sponsors that come in and out. I've had sponsors for almost a year. Once you have eyeballs and you have views and you're consistent, and that's the major thing if you want to do social media in general. And YouTube is just like this, and that's probably been my biggest struggle on YouTube is consistency. But like with TikTok, I haven't missed a day with a video in a year, maybe 2-3 months. So maybe 15 months, I haven't missed a day. I don't miss a day ever on Instagram where I'm not doing stories or reel of some sort. So it's just consistency. You're going to get people who like what you're doing. If you're out there hustling, they're going to be interested in whatever you're doing. And as long as you're consistently putting out content for them. And the cool thing about Instagram and TikTok is it's short form. So like when you start doing and learning how to edit TikToks, it's going to take a little time. But once you get used to it, I'm making a TikTok in 8 minutes, and you learn, what the attention span is compared to YouTube. With TikTok, it's all about fast movements. It's all about inflection. I did theater training in the past. I was in theater and everything. So that's helped me a little bit. And it's all about just keeping people's attention. But the cool thing, it's like just for 13, 17 seconds, then they can move on. So you don't have to hold their attention for 10 or 20 minutes or an hour. It's a little easier.
Well, I struggle with this short format because when you're on TikTok, it's under 60 seconds, so you don't have time to
You can do
introduce
three. You can
yourself
do
and
three
say,
minutes now.
well, it is. So
Yeah.
you don't when you shoot your video, you don't sit down and introduce yourself. Say, hey, I'm Carrie. I live in Utah. This is what I do. You just have time for like, hey, I found this item for $1. It's going to sell for $15.99 or whatever plus shipping, and then boom, and that's it. And then you'll show like a sold comp and say, hey, this is what it's selling for. Go ahead.
You're making a good point there. It's a little bit different culturally. It's like a little bit different style wise than YouTube. YouTube, you're introducing yourself, who you are, what you do. On TikTok, you got to remember it's a commodity. Every time I do a TikTok, I'm never introducing myself on purpose because I assume people who like me are going to rewatch and watch my new stuff. But I consider every TikTok or every reel I do on Instagram the first time anybody's ever seen me or heard of reselling at all. That's why, like lately, I thrift for a living. I go to garage sales for a living. That's a juicy hook. We're like, what the hell? How do you do that? It's going to get people who aren't in our genre going like, yeah, right. There's either people, that are skeptical or people are like, I want to see how they do that. And then you just show them what you find, and then hopefully, there is some longer form stuff I've done on TikTok. It doesn't work quite as well yet, but I think it's going to go there. I think there's going to be longer form YouTube style videos on TikTok probably in the next couple years.
Right. And so the reason why I'm bringing this up, guys, Kerry has some videos that has over 1 million views on his channel. And so he's getting so much advertisement, not only for his personal brand, for American Arbitrage, but then he can kind of divert some of this traffic to his eBay store. He's making sales off of his off of his brand. And on top of that, you're getting like brand sponsorships to people that say, hey, I want to be sponsored with your channel for sponsorships as well. So you're kind of like double dipping in a sense. You're getting the ad revenue from the channel. You're getting new viewers and subscribers and people coming by to check your channel out. But then you're also diverting some of this traffic saying, hey, you like this particular item, you could go to my eBay store and buy it. Or you're diverting some of this traffic and people are coming to subscribe on your YouTube channel, following you on Instagram. So you're kind of using it to kind of help grow your brand. And so, I don't really mean to put you on the spot, but how much would you say, like when you have the sponsor, like if something was to happen and you were on a lockdown, let's say you didn't make sales for a month or two, you would still be able to pay all of your bills just from these brand deals and stuff, right? Essentially, if you had to, right?
Yeah, give or take. Yeah, I might have to pick up a couple more because, my overhead here is almost $3,000 a month, for example. So, but yeah, I do. Some months on TikTok are insane money wise. I had a video 3 months ago that did 12 million views. So that was a nice spike. And TikTok's fascinating with the ebbs and flows. If you're consistent, you're always going to go up, though. It feels like if you're consistent with what people want, what people struggle with, I've noticed on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, is they go off topic too much. I'm just laser focused on what I do. And then, Instagram stories or whatever, I might show some of my personal life. But yeah, no, I could. If it was a lockdown and I had to buckle down, I could probably email 20 places and get 5 or 6 sponsorships more if I wanted them. So, yeah, because I can show. The cool thing about once you gain this traction in anything you're in, you can go like, here we go. Like, look, I have 600-something thousand followers. My videos are going to get you 10,000 to 100,000 views on average every single time. And then sometimes there might be 1 million plus video. And then once you have those kind of eyeballs, people pay. And a lot of people in this business with the reselling game, they undervalue what their videos should be worth, like what their time. I always tell people, like sponsorships I'm working with, I'm not a salesman. You're paying for my creative and my space, my platform. You got to figure out if your offer is compelling or not. I can only offer that, right? So I don't really care. I do want their stuff to sell well, but that's not my job. My job is to make a creative that they can use on their platforms too, like a video, and then offer it to my community. And then whether their offer is compelling or not is really up to them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's interesting. I find that end of this business very fascinating, and I never thought I would even get to that point. I never thought I would get over 1,500 followers on TikTok. So it's all new territory.
Yeah. Well, what advice would you have somebody if they wanted to get started on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram, they wanted to start building their brand? What advice would you have for them to help them out?
Absolutely, get started right now. Open up a TikTok account right now, Instagram and YouTube. You don't have to do a video on all 3 right now, but TikTok's a really good one to do real quick. When I started TikTok, literally, if you guys want to scroll back 1,000 plus videos, My first video was me holding a basketball card going in and out for 2 seconds, and I didn't talk. And I got 2 views on it for 2 weeks, and I quit for 2 weeks. And then I just came back, and there was like 3 or 4 of us doing resale content at that time, and I wasn't one of them because I had just started. And then I'm like, okay, I found something like a box of toys. I'm just gonna talk about this box of toys. And I did that, and then I did music ones because music stuff was popular and still is on TikTok. And I just was, after I got like my 5th video kind of bumped up. And it's weird. I've talked to people, if you study TikTok and you're watching, go on like eBay sellers, the hashtag on TikTok, go to reseller hashtag, go to thrift talk, you can look at my hashtag, American Arbitrage. There's like 200 million views on my hashtag, and just see the kind of stuff I'm doing, and copy me with your own spin on it, really. And then you'll figure out your own voice over time.
Yeah.
But just get yourself out there and it's like working out, put in reps. The more reps you do, the better you'll get.
Yeah, you make it look easy. If I was there, I'm not like super camera shy, but I would be like, I tried to like cram like a 30-minute video into like 30 seconds. My brain would be like my brain would be like overloaded, you know?
You have to train yourself. I'm constantly reminded of like, okay, other people don't know what I know about this particular item. I just need to say something basic. Like my biggest video ever is like 12 point something million views. And it's literally talking about crazing the cracks in a mug. And I was down in St. George with my girlfriend. We were at the thrift store. I wasn't finding much to do a video on. And she came up to me. She had a Mary Englebright mug. And she's all like, Mary Englebright, is this probably worth it, right? And I took it. I looked at it. And I'm like, it's got crazing. You know, and then she put it back. And then about 5 minutes later, I'm like, wait, maybe I should do a video on don't buy those mugs because of the crazing. So I went back. I picked it up. I did a little video of me filming it. I went back, you know, to the house where we were staying at the in-laws, and I just did a voiceover. I didn't think it would do that. I thought maybe sometimes those videos do weirdly well. But all I said was like, hey, when you're at the thrift store, you know, be careful when you're buying mugs. They could have crazing and then they're not worth it. That's all I said. And then there's people saying, you know, stop buying stuff at the thrift store. There's people going, you can fix that. There was all these different little groups of people fighting for no reason.
That's what you wanted was feedback. Yeah, go ahead. So that's what you're swinging for, is to get that feedback from the people that's watching your video, bro. So
it's true. And once you get about over 50,000 to 100,000 on TikTok, that's when you start to get people who aren't following resellers at that point. You're getting people who are, you know, adults and kids and everything on TikTok that are looking at other content, but then they see a random dude with a, you know, talking about a mug. So they want to comment. There was actually one I did a while ago. It was, be careful. I picked it. It was a similar video. I picked up a Finding Nemo little statue, and I just said, be careful. This is broke. You know, don't buy it. And then I ended up on some big podcast. I forgot, Your Mom's House with Tom Segura and stuff. And they go through TikToks, and I was on it. And they just like, they had no clue what I was talking about. They were laughing. They actually were pretty nice about it. They could have been. And she ended up following me and everything. But like, they're just like, what are you talking about, dude? Like nobody understood out of the context of the world I was in. They just thought I was some dude like critiquing a Finding Nemo statue and putting it. They're like, what are you doing? So it's weird the amount of people who can see your stuff on TikTok is what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
awesome. Let me say hello real quick to a few people in the chat. Javela Flips, Annie is here. I wanted to say hey to BK from the Rockies. I hope you're doing well. Mike asked a question. He says, did Kerry say what his eBay store was? You have it linked on your Instagram account, right?
Yes, linked on my Insta. It's also linked in my eBay video, my YouTube videos. There's a link. It's 1851 the year, AD deals in the eBay store. If you type that in, you can find me that way too. But if you just go on my Instagram, American Arbitrage, or even TikTok, I have a link tree in my eBay, my Mercari, everything I do is on that link tree. My podcast, everything.
Yeah. Kerry stays really busy, and I wanted to say hey to Terry Picker Flipper is here. Mike wants to know, hey, Kerry, where do you see yourself in 1 to 2 years? So what have you thought about what your maybe short-term or long-term goals are for your reselling career and YouTube and creating a brand? Like, have you thought about like, hey, in 2 years, I'm going to be here. Like, have you thought about that?
Yeah, I have definite goals. I mean, honestly, in 2 years, I should be at 2 or 3 million followers on TikTok. That's realistically the trajectory that I'm on. Instagram should be a couple 100,000, and then I hope I'm at about 100,000 on YouTube, which I'm far away from right now. I'm at like 5,000. But that's the goal, and I think all that's going to play into my ability to do what I want. I'm not super interested in. I'm interested in the money in the sense of living comfortably, but I don't really have like big monetary goals with my store. You know, like some people want to make $1 million a year or 2 million. I more just want to be able to do what I want. You know, if I'm at the position where I have, you know, that kind of following, then I could travel more and do this on the road, and have some fun with that. But you know, if I can just do what I love, I've done this reselling when I was, you know, some days making nothing and I had to eat a $1 taco and that's all I had. And I still did this with my education without going back to doing a professional job. So I could do this with nothing and I can do it with more. So as long as I'm happy, that's all I care about. But yeah, I think that social media will grow. That's my goal. I mean, I'm super into it. I have some big goals when it comes to that. I think this time next year, I'll be over 1 million easily on TikTok if it continues.
Oh, I believe you, because as long as you stay consistent and you keep putting out content and you have this like energy, like passion that you're interested in what you're talking about. You're not talking about, you know, some painting or a football game or something that you're distant. You ever seen a guy on Sports Center and he's talking about the highlights of a game and he didn't even watch the game? He doesn't have a clue of who the 49ers and Chargers are. Like, you're actually in what you're talking about. Like, you actually are passionate about what you're talking about.
That's the beauty of the world we're in right now. Like, I've talked about it before. If you go on YouTube, look up ant farms. There's 2 or 3 people with millions of subscribers that just talk about ant farms, and they're on TikTok too. So whatever you're into, obviously we're into reselling and stuff like that, but there's so much room for more resellers on TikTok. It's a great way to grow. If social media is something you're interested in, it's a great stepping stone. You know, it's surprising how little TikTok actually like got me other followers in other places. I maybe got a couple thousand followers from on Instagram and YouTube for my TikTok, but most of my Instagram growth came from doing the short videos. And there's short videos on YouTube too, but they don't really have the algorithm that TikTok and Instagram has right now. But if YouTube Shorts ever gets itself together, I'm ready with about 1,000 videos for them. So we'll see if it ever gets together.
you have backstock of videos. So hey, Kerry, I want to talk a little bit about how is your partner in crime doing? You know, how are things going?
Oh, Dawn's doing great. I forgot I had this interview. I was going to go take some stuff up to Idaho today, but she did it. We're both off, so it didn't really matter who did it. So she's up taking some excess inventory. So we get so much stuff in the summer, you know, we have just a plethora of stuff, and some of the bigger stuff I don't want to deal with. We took it up to an auction. It's a good way to make some extra money. There's a really nice auction up in Idaho about 2 hours away from us that we go and put stuff in, you know, a couple times a month when we can. So she's doing great. Yeah, if you want to follow her, we haven't gotten her on YouTube yet, but she's the 1851 AD. She's like at 30,000 followers on TikTok now, maybe like 10,000, 11,000 on Instagram. And she just does painted furniture. She paints a lot of this furniture that's all around me here in the shop.
Yeah. So Kerry, I wanted to talk a little bit about, you know, you having a brick and mortar business. I see other YouTubers, other entrepreneurs that have a brick and mortar business. What got you to kind of make the jump of saying, you know what, I'm making a good money reselling stuff on eBay, but now I want to go and invest and get my own brick and mortar business? Like, how did that thought process come about, and how did you actually make it happen? Because besides just reselling, besides being a YouTuber and a TikToker and a podcaster and a reseller, you also have a brick and mortar business. So tell people a little bit about how all this works kind of behind the scenes, because maybe somebody else is considering it and they're like, man, I don't want to have a lot of employees. I don't want to have to pay all this overhead. I don't want to have to pay all these utilities. Kind of what made you kind of made the jump into having your own brick and mortar business?
So since I started reselling, I've had a brick and mortar for about 7 of the 10 years I've done it. I didn't have a brick and mortar for about 2 years though. We were just down the street and they tripled the rent, a long story. So we moved in with our buddy in this building, and we basically just subletted 2 rooms to do our business out of. And then basically we weren't really planning on doing a business again, like a brick and mortar. They're tough. And to be honest, it's not like my forte. It's not my strength. I'm not really good at it. But we were able to get this whole 3,000 square foot building when they left, and 2,000-ish of this square footage is for our Dawn's painting and for my eBay. So that's really the value in the building we're in right now. And we have this small, about 1,000 square feet, where we have the actual open store. It made sense with me as like, you know, social media was taking off. It allows me to meet people. It allows me to make some extra sales. But I'll tell you this, it's difficult. And honestly, in most cases, I would say to avoid it. if we didn't have the situation we had right now with this big building that we can chop up the way we want, I probably wouldn't be doing it. But since we have all this space for storage and to do our online stuff and my social media stuff, it made sense to open up basically a small section of it for the store.
So do you get a lot of foot traffic of people that come in on foot and want to buy something out of your shop? And how do you have it set up? Is it similar to a thrift shop, or how do you have things set up there?
It's similar to, I don't know if there's places like this nationwide, but we're like it's a furniture and decor place. So it's painted furniture, old furniture, and like decor stuff, and like some antiques.
Yeah.
A little bit of this kind of stuff, which I actually just randomly put up there because people come in sometimes for what I'm doing. But a lot of times if people come in here, I just take them to the back and show them my eBay area, and they can look at my stuff there. Yeah, it's an interesting, I forgot, I kind of lost my train of thought there. What was the question again?
Yeah, I was just talking about your brick and mortar business. What got you guys started in doing this? Because for me, we were talking about how there was a shift in the economy. I would be very nervous signing a contract that says I'm paying $3,000 a month or for rent for a commercial space for a building. So I was just wondering like how that's working for you between, you selling stuff online on eBay and then still spending time with your girlfriend, and did you guys having this brick and mortar?
It's stressful, man. It's an added stress, that's for sure. But it's definitely worth it. It allows us a lot of things that not everybody can do with the amount of storage space we have. And the interesting thing about our business is it's always primarily been online. We built me and Don got together in 2015. I closed my old store, which was under my name, and we started our store together. And since then, we built up our Facebook to I think we're at 25,000. And then the Instagram for the business is at 11,000, which is Don's Instagram. And so a lot of our sales come online. Like we deliver for free all the way down to Vegas. So we, if somebody buys a piece of furniture, we just once a month go down to Vegas, for example, because we have some family that lives near Vegas. So we like to go down and visit them anyway. So we figured we'd open it up. But what happens is a lot of our sales come from that. So we'll do Don will do some pictures of some furniture out here, and then we'll typically sell the stuff and then go deliver it to them. Like right now, Dawn this weekend has 2 big pieces of furniture she's working on that are pretty much already sold. I think they already put deposits down on them and stuff like that.
You guys aren't losing money on the business. You're at least making enough sales to cover your operating expenses there, right?
Yeah. The goal of this store is, and it doesn't hit it every month, honestly, the actual physical store is to pay for itself. But the store is always going to be paid for either through my social media, either through our eBay, we have several different places that pay for it. So we came from a place where we were pretty secure and able to do it, no matter how slow it was or not. But that's the trickiest part. Probably the hardest part of all the stuff I do is the brick and mortar. Trying to make it work. Honestly,
the thing is that I've heard from other content creators, and for example, Chris from Daily Refinement, he told me that if you actually have a brick and mortar business, you can actually lock down wholesale account that people that are selling out of their garage or out of their basement couldn't do. If you say, hey, here I have a physical address, here's my brick and mortar location, and boom, you could land larger wholesale accounts with stuff to resell on eBay and Amazon that I couldn't do just selling stuff out of the shed in my backyard. So
very true.
Let me say hello to a few people. DeBela Flips says, I love the hashtag plus shipping.
Right on.
Rachel says, awesome guest. I love Carrie's content.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a big fan of our guest. Mike wants to know, Carrie, how many items or listings do you try to maintain on eBay? So how many items do you currently have listed right now?
850 on eBay. My goal is always, my white whale, my goal has always been 1,000. I've gotten up to 950. I've never hit 1,000. So I'm floating around 850. And honestly, with the fourth quarter coming up, I need to get over 1,000. I have plenty of stuff, plenty of stuff. And I'm always doing this for 10 years beyond the social media and everything. I've met so many people in this area. Like my neighbor here has another little shop. He does the estate sale buyouts in this area. So pretty much all the estate sales that are happening in this area, he buys them when they're done. So every time he buys out an estate, me and Don can go there and we could buy roomfuls of stuff for pennies on the dollar. It's just, there's too much stuff at this moment to be able to take
there's no shortage. There's no shortage of merchandise. You just got to get it for the right price.
Thankfully for us here in this area in Utah, there's no shortage.
So Carrie, before we let you go, man, you got to drop some knowledge. You got to give us some advice. What would be 3 pieces of advice you would give somebody to help them with their reselling business? What would be 3 tips of things that you could come up with that would help them make money on eBay?
Consistency. It's all about consistency. Whether you're listing daily, whether you're, whatever your schedule is with picking. A lot of people know that I go to thrift stores almost every single day. I'm like 10 minutes away. I figure why not take an hour out of every day and see if there's anything new. And I also do that for the content end. And with the TikToks and the Reels, I'm making money on stuff like that. So it suits me in a couple different ways. But be consistent. List daily. You don't necessarily, everybody says this. You don't necessarily have to sit down and make the listings every day, but make a draft bank like Chris from Daily Refinement talks about. Get a list, a draft bank of things and just release stuff every day. The more, the merrier. At this point, if I don't put 20 listings up, I don't feel that bump. If I put 5 or 6 up, it still could drag. But I talked about it on my Instagram yesterday. I put up I didn't put up anything yesterday. I was so busy. But the day before, I put up 24 items, and I had 19 sales yesterday. I took offers. I sent out best offers as well. That's another thing you want to do with eBay is send out best offers. If you make, like I've talked about earlier, you make your money on the buy. So if you're buying things in big lots and you're paying $1 or 50 cents an item, and it's worth $30, and it's been sitting in your inventory for 3 months, sell it for 15 plus shipping. It's okay. Turn that money over, get rid of it. It's not a hot seller, whatever, and churn that money, churn and burn. I'm all about the fast nickel. Except for a few random items. There are some heavy hitter items that I will wait for the right price on. And then beyond that, sell stuff you enjoy. I think that will give you motivation to do this. Whatever you're into, if you're into clothing, if you're into, shoes, if you're into skateboards, if you're into, movie posters, whatever it is, become an expert in that. Something you're passionate about. My first thing I started selling before I was a reseller, I sold a few things on eBay, and it was cards. And what I used to do was I'd buy auctions on eBay. I'd have them sent to me, and I'd build these collections. And then I'd start the collections on eBay on a penny auction. I don't know why I did it. I really wasn't trying to make money doing it. I had a job. I was just doing it purely because I enjoyed it. And I usually made $100 every lot I put together. And it wasn't worth the time I put in at all monetarily. So find stuff you enjoy, whatever it is, and become an expert in that. And then watch the videos from everybody. And when you pass a pair of maybe not anymore, but if you pass a pair of Auburn tennis shoes, pick those up. You find some, you find some what is it? There's so many brands out there. Whatever you find, pick those up, but focus on something.
Yeah, I'm with you. Kerry talks a lot about in his videos. Is just move this merchandise. Just get it moving. It's not, a lot of this stuff is replenishable. There's so much merchandise out there.
You have.
Yeah, if you have stuff and you got it listed for sale, just move it. I have, I'm similar. I do a lot of or best offer on my items, and I'll send out offers to watchers. So if I have, let's say I have this item and I paid $1 for it, I got it listed for $20, I'll send an offer of $17, $18. We're here to move merchandise and get this stuff moving. I don't want it just sitting here taking up space on the shelf, So Kerry, I want to put you on the spot real quick. Who are your top 3 content creators that you like to watch when you have free time?
Commonwealth Pickers one for sure. I've been into froggy flips a lot lately, partially because I'm trying to learn how to do that kind of content on YouTube. If you've watched my recent stuff, it's the GoPro stuff at garage sales. And then, gosh, that's a good. I'm trying to think of somebody. I'm really Daily Refinement. I'm a Patreon member of his group. I listen to his podcast. His podcast with Tech and Sports. It's the smartest, and I'm doing a free advertisement for him, but it's the smartest $5 I've spent. Because every week they do a podcast with Tech and Sports who, gosh, sells so much. I learn so much every time. And I've been doing it so long. I'm not, the best reseller at all, but I've heard a lot of stuff over and over. And when I listen to their podcast especially, I learn new stuff every time. I'm like, oh, I never thought of things that way. So those are my 3. There's a lot more, though. I am obsessed with watching people's stuff. So there's hundreds of people I follow consistently.
Okay. Okay, awesome. All right, so Kerry, tell everybody where they can go by and follow you at. I have all your links down below for YouTube and Instagram, but let them know where they can go by and find you and follow you at.
Yeah, if you like the short form stuff, which is kind of what I'm known for, Instagram and TikTok are the places we're going to see it. Instagram, there's also the stories, so there's a lot of extra stuff I do there. YouTube, of course. I'm on Pinterest. I just broke 100 followers on Pinterest, which I don't know what that means, but I'm having fun trying to see if I can build a Pinterest account. But yeah, I'm on Snapchat, American Arbitrage everywhere. But if you go to my Instagram, you can follow my link tree. You can see where I sell. You can follow what I'm selling on eBay. I encourage people to go look at what I sell every day and look for that stuff too and make some money.
Okay, awesome. I just wanted to say hello to a few people in the chat. I wanted to say hey to Rachel Strickland is here in the chat. Javela Flips Annie, Cherry Picker Flipper, BK from the Rockies is here. Paul, the flipping sports guy. Sal's HQ is here. Says I can't wait to bounce out of New York City. And I wanted to say hey to Paul Philly Flipper and Commonwealth Flipper guy, everybody in the chat for hanging out with us. Mike says he's a slow dime person, has 11,000 items listed. Well, awesome.
That's a lot of listings.
He says Daily Refinement told me to quit eBay. I'm not a fan. Well, the thing is, you can learn something from everybody. You know, I watch content and maybe I don't implement everything that this content creator says, but I may take one thing and then slowly kind of integrate it into what I'm doing. Like right now, we're live on Twitch. I would have never started Twitch if I didn't see other content creators like, hey, I'm getting content on.
That's cool.
Yeah, you can live stream on StreamYard if you pay the subscription or whatever. You can upgrade and live stream on multiple platforms. You can be live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. I mean, I started that. I have different accounts, different things that I create, and then you just kind of implement things into your account. So, anyways, you have some final thoughts you can leave us with, Gary. I appreciate you coming on, man. I could probably talk to you for another. I feel like I could probably talk to you for another hour. You know.
Yeah, just like Mike was saying, there's no right or wrong way to be a reseller. You could, just because I'm a churn and burn, fast nickel person doesn't mean that that's the correct thing. And something you were saying with Chris, like you could take something from somebody and not take something. None of us, remember this, none of us that are content creating know everything or are perfect resellers or even great at everything. People oftentimes say like, why don't you do more organizational videos and more how to ship videos? It's because I'm not super organized and I hate shipping. That's why, that's not my strengths. I focus on what I'm good at. So just take what you like from people, understand we're not perfect and we're not going to be good at everything in resell, and take what you can from us and go on to the next person. And we can all build this community strong. There's plenty of stuff out there for all of us. We can all make a living doing this, make our life a little bit easier if we're doing it part-time or get away from a job we hate doing it full-time. It's totally possible.
Yeah, definitely. If you're a person you need to supplement your income and you want to do reselling part-time, you could do that. Or if you need to make a full-time income, you could do that as well, just depending on what situation you're in. Anyways, you guys have a great weekend. One thing I wanted to plug real quick, I'm going to be a special guest tonight on Buffalo Pickers channel, 7:30 Eastern time, I believe. So if you guys want to come by and hang out, I will drop a link in the community section. And I'm going to be hanging out with Buffalo Picker on his Defend the Hustle channel. So you guys want to come by and hang out with us for a little bit? We're going to be talking all things reselling. He has a whole panel of people. I'll see you there. If not, you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you later. Go follow our guest, Kerry. He's going to be blowing up. Follow him. His links are right down below. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. All the links are going to be down below. Till then, you guys have a great weekend. I'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody.
See ya.